ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नः तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So dear friends, we have to now start the first part of second Mundaka. In the last class we completed the second part of first Mundaka. We see that there are three Mundakas, that is this Mundaka Upanishad is in three parts. And each part is having two subparts. So we have completed the first part. First part, that means the two subparts. Now we are starting the second part, first subpart. That is called the second Mundaka, first Khanda. And then maybe in this class we will complete number 1 and maybe we will go to 2 also. So in this particular part, again we are going to see what exactly is the definition of Brahma. So in the earlier Mundakas, what we have seen is the student went to the teacher. The teacher said there is a lower level of learning and there is a higher level of learning. And then what is the higher level of learning? He said, by which that aksharam adhigamyate, by which you know that imperishable thing. And then there again we saw some 2 or 3 mantras which described what is that aksharam. Yattad adreshyam agrahyam ajakshushrottram etc. etc. we saw such lines. Then again here after the second part of this first the second sub part of the first Mundaka, it told about the Vyavaharika Prapancha. All this Vyavaharika world means the transactional world. Transactional world, that is the world of samsara, where a person does or performs so many activities, so many actions. Actions means rituals. He performs so many rituals and achieves so many things. As a result of his rituals, he achieves so many things. So that again, all those things, they are also true. They have some value, he said. And the very first mantra of the earlier part, it said, the very first mantra said, Tadetat Satyam Mantreshu Karmani Kavayoyanyapashyan. That is, all these Vedic rishis, all the rituals which have been envisaged by the ancient Vedic rishis. So all that is also true. All the mantras which talk about different gods, different rituals, and then different, the fruits of that, different results of that, of those rituals, etc. All that has some reality. It is not as though it is totally trash. So it has some reality. That is why the earlier mantra also said, Tadetat Satyam, it said. Then this portion also, it is starting with the same word, Tadetat Satyam. So then earlier also it said Satyam. Now again it is going to say it is Satyam while referring to the supreme reality. So then what is Satyam? Which means that earlier Satyam is somewhat relative Satyam. Because the person, he goes to Swarga, and then Swarga is something which is more permanent than the human life. The human life is only some 100 years. So the Swargaloka, he goes and stays for 1,000 years. Or it also talked about the Devayana. We talked about the Devayana in the earlier class, in the earlier 2-3 classes. So Devayana is that path of the gods, where he goes to a Devaloka, and then there is no return from there, and then by the grace of God he attains knowledge, self-knowledge, and then becomes liberated, and then he is there till the end of that cycle. So that cycle of creation, and this cycle of creation is for millions and millions of years. So compared to human life, that is something which is eternal, relatively eternal. Compared to human life, that is Satyam. So that is why that was also called Satyam. But here, all those comparisons are gone. All those comparisons are gone. This is something which is absolute, beyond which there is nothing. And compared to this, that earlier Satyam is a lower level of Satyam. So that is why there is what is called Vidya, Aparavidya and Paravidya. Both are Vidya, but then one is lower and one is higher. One is leading to a relative Satyam and the other is leading to an absolute Satyam. So that is where we are. So we will see this mantra in this particular mantra, and then this particular mantra is going to give us a particular metaphor. Metaphor means a picture. That picture, that is an image, let us say, which illustrates a particular thing. For example, we say that from the Brahman everything has originated. Well, then what is that? What is the nature? The Upanishads, they use several metaphors. One metaphor is ocean and the waves. Ocean is there, the huge ocean. It is nothing but water and water and water. But then in that water, you find some waves. There is a small wave, there is a big wave, there is a bubble, there is all this foam. So many types of the same water changing into so many shapes. So that is one example. Or we also get the example of space, Akasha. Akasha, you take a particular vessel and you feel there is a Akasha in this. You take a bigger vessel, there is Akasha in this. You take this room, there is Akasha, there is space in this. You take this house, there is a space in this. You take this whole building, even outside and all that, there is space. So, but then, absolute, with reference to absolute space, all these are small, tiny, small specks. The same thing, another example is a huge fire. Normally we don't have an occasion to see the huge fire. I have seen forest fires anyway. So if you see some forest fire, then you will see some huge flames will be there. And then all these small sparkles going out and then again falling back into the flame. Sparkle, if you just light a small lamp and if that is the only flame we see, then you don't see any sparks. But then if there is a huge fire, where there is a lot of firewood, depending on the type of the firewood again, there will be sparkles. So all those sparkles, they just rise out and then they fall. They just rise and fall. And these sparkles are of different shapes, sizes, but then they are equally bright. Like the fire, they are also bright. They are bright, they differ in their size, shape, etc. But then again, they are there for a while and then they just fall back into the fire. So that is the metaphor, or that is the example which is given here. So let us read the mantra. Tadetat satyam yatha sudiptat pavakad visphulingaha sahasrashah prabhavante sarupaha तथाक्षराद् विविधाः सौम्यभावाः प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैवापि यन्ति. Okay. So here, tad etat satyam. This is the same thing which we saw earlier in the earlier Mundaka and earlier part. Tad etat satyam. That is something which is real. Tad etat. Tad etat means that which is told by the the ancient sages is satyam. That was the meaning earlier. But here, this parabrahma vishayam, paravidya vishayam. Paravidya vishayam is that Brahma. Earlier was the aparavidya vishayam. Now it is the paravidya vishayam. That is the subject matter of the higher learning, subject matter of the vidya, paravidya. That is also true. So this means this is relatively not relative truth but absolute truth. Tadeta satyam. And what is that? Yatha sudiptat pavakat. Pavaka, you know what is pavaka? Pavaka is fire. Sudiptat pavakat means that is very well lit fire. A huge fire, very well lit fire. Sudiptat pavakat. Visphulingaha. Visphulingaha means all these small sparkles. Visphulingaha. Sparkles. Sahasrashaha prabhavante sarupaha. Sahasrashaha means in thousands. Sahasram is 1000. Sahasrashaha is the adjectival form, that is in thousands. Sahasrashaha, in thousands. Sarupaha prabhavante. Prabhavante sarupaha is sarupaha prabhavante. Sarupaha means visphulingaha sarupaha. It is a qualification, it qualifies that visphulinga. Sarupaha means of the same nature. Visphulingaha Sarupaha, or rather Sarupaha Visphulingaha Prabhavante. That is, the sparkles of the same nature as of the fire. The sparkles which have the same nature as of the fire, they prabhavante, they originate, they generate, they originate. Prabhavante. Then tatha, likewise, tathaksharad vividhas somya bhavaha. Somya is the address. Somya is, oh nice, oh gentle one, oh dear one. Usually this you find this word somya several times in Upanishads. That is the teacher addressing the student. Oh my dear one, oh my dear boy. So that is in a sort of pleasant manner. Oh my dear boy, Somya. Tatha, likewise, Aksharat. Aksharat means from that imperishable Brahman. Vividhaha. Vividhaha means of different shapes, of different types. Vividhaha, of different types. Bhavaha. Bhava means beings. All this is bhu dhatu. From bhu dhatu, bhu means to be. Bhu dhatu, from the bhu dhatu only we get the word bhava. Bhava, the bhavam, in Telugu we use the word for, say an idea or an expression, that we use the word for bhava. But bhava means anything which exists. That which exists is a bhava. That is bhava here, it means various types of jivas. Bhavaha prajayante, they originate. Just as the Visphulingaha prabhavante, just as the sparkles, they originate from the huge fire, well-lit fire. Similarly, from that imperishable, all these small beings, they come out. And then tatra chaiva, from there only, tatra cha eva, tatra cha eva is from there only, and there only, apiyanti. Apiyanti means they just resolve back, apiyanti, they just resolve back into the same fire. So what does it mean? So here there are two things which we are seeing. One is the sparkles which come out of this huge fire, they are of the same nature as that of the huge fire. Which means this jiva who the thousands and thousands of jivas which come out of that akshara, they are also of the same nature. So which means jiva, what we call jiva, is something which is similar to Brahman in its essence. And in what sense it differs, again we are going to see. How is that equality established, and what are the differences and what are the common factors. Then we take the common factors and then we say, yes, jiva is equal to Brahma. And we reject the, say, non-tallying factors. There are so many things which do not tally. There is one essential thing which tallies. So that essential thing which is the same, you take it and then you equate jiva with Brahman. The other non-essential or inessential things which do not tally, you remove, you discard. So that is what we do. So that is one thing which we see. And if you recall, in say other Upanishads also, we have seen what is called Tatastha Lakshana and Swarupa Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means a very tentative, an incidental definition of a thing. A very incidental, a tentative description of a thing. And the standard example given to a Tatastha Lakshana is, suppose you want to point out to your friend's house and incidentally some bird is sitting on that. Incidentally a bird is sitting on that. Oh yes, you see, just look at there. There is a bird sitting on that house. The bird which is the house on which that bird is sitting, oh, that is my friend's house. So that is the Tatastha Lakshana. That is just incidental in nature. It is something which is tentative, which is incidental. Swarupa Lakshana means, if you want to describe that house, you have to give the door number, you have to give the GPS specifications and whatnot, and then you have to give that. That is the Swarupa. And if you want to give a better thing, you have to give a picture, you have to describe how it has been built, whether it is a wooden structure or whether it is a cement structure, whatever it is. So that is the Swarupa Lakshana. So here in the Upanishad, we always see these two lakshanas, these two definitions going side by side. Initially the Upanishad tells, Yato va imani bhuta nijayante. If you recall that what we have seen in what is this Taittiriya Upanishad, it has given the Swarupa Lakshana first. Swarupa Lakshana means the real nature. What is the real nature? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is something which is infinitely pervading consciousness, infinitely pervading intelligence. So that is what is the definition of Brahma. And later, it also talks about this Tatastha Lakshana. while describing the so-called creation. The creation, tasmadva etasmadatmana akasha sambhutah, akashadvayuh, vayoragnihi, etc., etc. We saw that whole thing, which is meant to show that this jiva is not different from Brahma. And then this jiva has come in a particular route and he has to go back in the same route. So that is what is the thing there. So similarly here, in this particular mantra, we are seeing the Tatastha Lakshana. We are talking about creation and then dissolution. So this creation and dissolution is not the real nature of Brahma. It is just incidental. Brahman is always there, this Maya is always there. This creation, dissolution and these cycles of creation are just Tatastha Lakshana, which are incidental. But the real nature of Brahman is that absolute Satyam Jnanam Anantam. In different words we are going to see it in the next mantra, in the second mantra. So the first mantra, it is giving about the Tatastha Lakshana. The second mantra we are going to see the Swarupa Lakshana. So let us see the Bhashyam for the first mantra. Let us read. Aparavidyayaha sarvam karya muktam
अपरविद्यायाः सर्वं कार्यमुक्तं
sacha samsaro yatsaraha
स च संसारो यत्सारः
yasmad मूलादक्षरात् sambhavati
यस्माद् मूलादक्षरात् सम्भवति
yasminscha praliyate
यस्मिंश्च प्रलीयते
tadaksharam purushakyam satyam.
तदक्षरं पुरुषाख्यं सत्यम्.
Okay. Aparavidyayaha sarvam karya muktam. That is, Aparavidyayaha means of that Aparavidya, that is of that inferior learning. Sarvam karya muktam, all that is achieved. Karya means something which is achieved. Whatever is the effect. All the things which can be achieved, the ultimate, what is the final point, that has been told. And such a samsaraha, that particular samsara, yatsaraha. Yatsaraha means from which it is deriving its essence. Yatsaraha is from which it is deriving its essence. Yatsaraha. Dani, in Telugu, if you want to say, Dani saram ekkadido. So that is how we say. Yatsaraha, that is from which it derives its essence. Yatsaraha, it is a peculiar, it is a particular type of idiomatic usage. Samsaraha, yatsaraha means from which it is deriving its essence. That is its, so yatsaraha. Then yasmat mulad aksharat sambhavati. That is from which root, yasmat mulat. Mula means the root, the cause. From which cause it emerges. Yasmat aksharat sambhavati. Aksharat. From which imperishable root is it evolving? Is it appearing? Sambhavati. Then yasminscha praliyate. And then in which it again gets dissolved. Yasminscha praliyate, into which it gets dissolved. Tat, that particular thing is aksharam purushakyam satyam. This thing is what is called real satyam, which is something which is not sublatable. That is, you know that satyam is something which cannot be negated at any point of time. We have seen what is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma in this same Taittiriya Upanishad. We have seen a very huge explanation for what is Satyam. What all we see appears to be Satyam, but then it is a relative Satyam. Satyam is something which is there, which cannot be negated at any point of time. Trikala Badhitam. Trikala Badhyam rather. Trikala Badhitam and Trikala Badhyam are not the same. Trikala Badhyam Satyam. That is something which cannot be negated at any point of time and which is beyond time. Time again is only a manifestation in that Satyam. So, that Aksharam Purushakyam. That is Aksharam Satyam. Akshara is imperishable. Purushakyam. Purusha, we know the meaning of Purusha. That is Purishete is one. That is that which is immanent. And Purnatvat Purusha. That which is all pervading. That is one meaning. Purishete, that is immanent in everything. That again is another meaning. That is Satyam. Then Yasmin Vijñate. Sarvamidam Vijñatam Bhavati.
सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति.
तत् परस्या ब्रह्मविद्यायाः विषयः
तत् परस्याः ब्रह्मविद्यायाः विषयः
सवक्तव्यः इत्युत्तरो ग्रन्थः आरभ्यते.
सवक्तव्यः इति उत्तरो ग्रन्थः आरभ्यते.
Okay. Then yasmin vijñate sarvamidam vijñatam bhavati. That by knowing which everything is known. That by knowing which yasmin vijñate means that by knowing which sarvamidam, all these things, vijñatam bhavati, which is, it becomes known. Vijñatam bhavati means it becomes known. Then tat, that particular thing is parasya brahma vidyayah vishayah. That is the subject matter for this paravidya. Parasyaha brahma vidyayah. That parasya vidyayah. What is that paravidya? That is brahma vidya. That is the brahma vidyaya's topic. The subject matter is that aksharam, by knowing which everything becomes known. Then Savaktavyah, that has to be told. Iti Uttaro Grantha Arabhyate means the commencing part, the commencing text is intended for that. Then Yad Aparavidya Vishayam Karma Phalalakshanam Satyam Tadapekshikam. So he is now specifically saying that whatever Satyam, the earlier also the word Satyam has been used, that is something which is apekshikam. Apekshikam means relative. Yet aparavidya vishayam, that which is the subject matter for that aparavidya, for that lower vidya, then karma phala lakshanam, which is of the nature of karma and karma phalam, which is of the nature of you do a ritual, you get the phalam, and then it has a tenure, it has some time limit, and then that is the characteristic of that. Then karma phala lakshanam satyam, that is also there is some sort of reality. But then that is absolute, that is not absolute, that is totally limited reality. Tad apekshikam. Idam tu paravidya vishayam paramarthataha sallakshanatvat tadetat satyam yathabhutam vidya vishayam. So this is idam tu is on the other hand. On the other hand, this Paravidya Vishayam, this which is the subject matter for this higher learning, Paramarthataha means at an absolute level, Paramarthataha at the supreme level, at the highest level, Sat Lakshanatvat. Sat Lakshanatvat is Sal Lakshanatvat, because it is of the nature of Sat. Lakshanam is nature, the characteristic. Sal Lakshanatvat, because it is of the nature of Satyam, which cannot be negated at any point of time. Tadetat Satyam. So this is what is real. Yathabhutam, that is as it exists. Yathabhutam. Vidya Vishayam. This is the subject matter for this Vidya, that is with this Paravidya, for this higher Vidya. Then Avidya Vishayatvacha. What is this? Anrutam itarat.
Anrutam ityetat.
Not ityetatu, itarat. It should be itarat. Anrutam itarat. Itarat means the other one. Now this particular line talked about Vidya Vishayam. So now we have to talk about the other thing, isn't it? This particular thing is real. So itarat, the other one. Itarat, the other one is avidya vishayatvat, because it is the subject matter of avidya. That is something which is anrutam. Avidya vishayatvacha anrutam itarat. Anrutam means unreal. Anrutam, unreal. That is unreal, the other one. Then atyanta parokshatvat. Katham nama where is this? Pratyakshavat. Satyam aksharam pratipadyeran iti drushtantamaha. Okay. Atyanta parokshatvat. This Brahman which is atyanta paroksham. Atyanta means altogether, totally, completely. Parokshatvat. Something which is beyond the sensory cognition. Aksha means indriyam. Aksha means the sense organ. Paroksha is something which is beyond. Para is above, beyond. Paroksha is something which is beyond the sensory perception. That is that it cannot be visualized, it cannot be conceptualized. So that is the thing. Parokshatvat. Katham nama pratyakshavat satyam aksharam pratipadyeram. How can Katham nama, how is it possible? So in that sense, Katham nama, in what sense, how is it? Pratyakshavat, as like pratyaksha, like you can visualize something which is pratyaksha, something which can be seen by the senses. Then how can a student understand it as though it is in front of him, as though it is something which can be perceived by the senses? Pratyakshavat, that satyam aksharam pratipadyeran means how can people understand? Iti drushtantamaha. So from that point of view, drushtantam is an example that is being told, that the Shruti is saying an example. Now the mantra starts. Yatha sudiptat sushtu deeptat
यथा सुदीप्तात् सुष्ठुदीप्तात्
इद्धात्
इद्धात्
पावकात्
इद्धात् पावकात्
अग्नेः
अग्नेः
विस्फुलिङ्गाः अग्नि अवयवाः
विस्फुलिङ्गाः
अवयवाः
अवयवाः
सहस्रशः अनेकः
सहस्रशः
अनेकशः also is okay अनेकः प्रभवन्ते निर्गच्छन्ति
प्रभवन्ते निर्गच्छन्ति
अनेकशः seems to be more appropriate here because प्रत्यय सहस्रशः अनेकशः okay प्रभवन्ते निर्गच्छन्ति स्वरूपाः अग्निसलक्षणा एव
स्वरूपाः अग्निसलक्षणा एव
तथा उक्तलक्षणाद् अक्षरात्
तथा उक्तलक्षणात् अक्षरात्
विविधा नाना देहोपाधि भेदमनुविधीयमानत्वात् विविधाः हे सौम्य भावाः जीवाः आकाशादिव घटादिपरिच्छिन्नाः सुषिरभेदाः घटाद्युपाधिभेदमनुभवन्ति ओके उपाधि प्रभेदमनुभवन्ति एवं नाना नामरूपकृत देहोपाधि प्रभवम् प्रभवम् अनुप्रजायन्ते okay so now there is a long line there yatha means just as Sudiptat, you see the original line, Sudiptat Pavakat Vispulingah. So he is explaining that. Sudiptat. Deepta means something which is very well lit. Sudiptat, very well lit. Deepta means lit. Sudiptat means very well lit. Sudiptat. Sushtu Deeptat. Sushtu means in a very, very proper manner, in a very excellent manner. Sushtu Deeptat. Iddhat. Iddhat again is the same thing. Iddhat. You put a lot many samidhas in that, you put lot many sticks and all the firewood in that, and then it's such a huge flame. Iddhat. Pavakat. Pavakat means Agnehe. From that Agni. Vispulingaha. Agni Avayavaha. Agni Avayavaha means all small parts of that, say from that thing. So it does not mean that Brahma is an Avayavi. It is only an example given. It is only a metaphor. It is an example given. Agni Avayavaha, Sahasrashaha, Anekashaha, that is thousands and thousands, means innumerable. Anekashaha, Prabhavante, Nirgachanti, they come out. Nirgachanti means they come out. Nirgachanti. Then Sarupaha, this is important. Sarupaha is Agni Salakshana eva. That is, their nature is of the same nature as that of Agni. Agni Salakshanaha. That is, which resemble, which are of the same nature as that Agni. Sarupaha eva tatha likewise ukta lakshanad aksharat, from that aksharam which has been described above, from that lakshana ukta lakshana means that which has been told above, ukta lakshanad aksharat, from that akshara which is defined like that. Vividhaha, this is again we have to see. Vividhaha means what? Vividhaha means various types of. What is this various types? Nana deha upadhi bhedam anuvidhiyamanatvat vividhaha. Why are they different? That is because their upadhi is different. Upadhi, you know this word upadhi. Upadhi means something which has certain delimiting factors. Suppose Akasha, the huge Akasha is there. With that huge Akasha, that is space. And I take a small part. And in that small part, I capture that Akasha. Small part also there is that space, isn't it? So I say this is part space. So for space, it doesn't make any difference. So whereas I have brought this part and I have put it here, and then I am saying, yes, this is the part space. So this part becomes an upadhi, a sort of delimiting thing, a sort of delimiting factor for that huge space. The huge space is not at all disturbed, whereas it looks as though it is distinct. Suppose I take a bigger part, then that bigger part, there is another upadhi. I take 1,000 varieties of, say, vessels. All these 1,000 varieties of vessels are upadhis. Or take another example like sun and image of the sun. And that image of the sun I can catch on, say, a small glass. I can catch it on a huge glass. I can catch it on some water body. I can catch it in 100 other types of water bodies. So with the same, all these things are upadhis. So like that upadhi is something, and this ultimately this upadhi refers to what does it refer? It refers to the antahkarana. It refers to the buddhi. What is called buddhi? It refers to that antahkarana. This antahkarana is said to be illumined by the same consciousness everywhere. Whether it is a small ant also has some intelligence, isn't it? So that means that small ant, there is an antahkarana into which that same intelligence is coming. So that is why it is able to detect where you have kept your sweets in your house. Then the same say intelligence illumines a cat which comes in search of some small its prey. The same antahkarana is illumining your mind, the same antahkarana, the same intelligence is illumining your antahkarana and my antahkarana. So all these antahkarana, all these buddhis, all these so-called intellects, they are all the upadhis, they are all the delimiting factors for that unbreakable intelligence. That intelligence is something which is unbreakable. It is like the sun's light which is falling on everything equally. So that thing, it is looking as though it is delimited by your intellect and my intellect. So that is it. Upadhi bhedaha. Nana dehopadhi bhedam anuvidhiyamanatvat. What is the upadhi here? This body-mind complex is the upadhi. I have a small body, somebody else may be having a huge body, and then I have some brain and somebody else is having a bigger brain. So upadhi bhedam, the difference is in the upadhis, but the essential thing is not different. The essential nature, you take a Hindu, you take a Muslim, you take a Christian, you go to some other tribe somewhere in some corner, the essential thing is same, whereas this intellect is something which is delimited. This intellect is having its own stories. This intellect is having its own likes, dislikes, etc. So this intellect is different. This is a delimiting factor, whereas the unchanging thing is that supreme thing. And that nana dehopadi bhedam anuvidhiyamanaha means that it is looking as though it is divided in accordance with this delimiting factor. Anuvidhiyamanaha means something which is in accordance with or in conformity with that delimiting factor. That word anuvidhiyamana, is it clear?
Yeah.
Anuvidhiyamanatvat. Anuvidhiyamanatvat means that is looking as though it is functioning in accordance with this. It is looking as though it is delimited in accordance with this, say, upadhi. For that reason, vividhaha, that means they look diverse. Hey Somya, oh my dear one, bhavaha jivaha. Then again he is giving another example. Akashadiva ghatadi parichinnaha. Ghata adi parichinnaha. Parichinna is another word which you come across in Shastra. Parichinna means something which is delimited. Paricheda means something which is something which has been divided. Paricheda is something which is divided. Paricheda means a division. Parichinna means something which has been divided. For example, a chapter is there, a chapter is there, you call it a paricheda. So and so paricheda, sangna paricheda, some other bhasha paricheda. Paricheda is a chapter, a division. Parichinna means something which has been divided, which is delimited. So here it is parichinna. Where is it? Ghatadi parichinnaha. Ghatam, etc. They are all delimited. Like what? Akashadi iva. From that huge space, they look as though they are differentiated, as though they are delimited, as though they are separate, as though they are numerous. They are looking all these are looking as though they are so numerous. But the same Akasha is there in all these things. Then parichinnaha. Sushira bhedaha. Sushiram means a whole. Sushira actually means a whole. That is, you take a small part which has got a small mouth. We are referring to that whole, you are referring to that mouth. Through that mouth only that space goes, isn't it? Otherwise, it will be a solid thing. There is an empty space, empty thing, and then through that hole it goes, isn't it? Sushira bheda means I can take a bigger part where it has got a bigger sushiram, or bigger hole, or bigger mouth. You take 1,000 other things with different varying mouths. So sushira bhedaha ghatadi upadhi bhedam anubhavanti. Just as this ghatadi upadhi anusrutya, depending on the difference in sizes of all these ghatams, Akasha is looking as though different. Similarly, the same thing, dehopadhi manusrutya, depending on the deha, depending on the body-mind complex, This intelligence, Akshara Brahma is looking as though it is differentiated. So that is the point. He Somya Anubhavanti. Evam, this also we read. Evam, likewise, Nana Namarupa Kruta Dehopadhi Prabhavam Anuprajayante. That is, what is all this? What is it which is manifested? Name and form. What all we see is only name and form. We know that very famous shloka. What is that? Asti bhati priyam rupam namachet nama rupam namachet yamsha panchakam. Asti bhati priyam rupam namachet yamsha panchakam. That is, there are 5 factors wherever you see. Asti, existence. Bhati, that intelligence. Priyam, something which is of the nature of Ananda, which is of the nature of bliss. That is Satchid Ananda. It is there in every being. Sat, Chit and Ananda, they are there in every being. And then, how are they different? The Nama and Rupa. Asti bhati priyam rupam namacha iti amsha panchakam. That name and form. Rupam is form and Nama is name, amsha panchakam. Adyatrayam brahma rupam. The first 3 are of the nature of Brahman. The next 2 are of the nature of Jagat. What is called manifest? That which keeps on changing. Gachat. Jagat also is a beautiful word. Jagat means gachati. Gachati iti Jagat. It keeps on changing. It is always in a state of flux. So that is what is Jagat. So this Nana Namarupa Kruta Dehopadhi Prabhavam. All these upadhis, they keep on changing. And these upadhis, they have got only names and forms. What all we see are mere names and forms. Their essence is something Sat, Chit, Ananda is of the nature of Brahman. Then Prabhavam Anu Prajayante. In accordance with the shapes and sizes, all these sparkles, they come out. We are going back to the example of sparkles. All these sparkles from the same one he, having the same nature, they are just arising and again falling into the same fire. Prabhavante Prajayante. Tatra chaiva tasminneva akshare apiyanti dehopadhi vilayam anuviliyante. Okay. Ghatadi vilayam anviva sushira bhedaha yatha akashasya sushira bhedotpatti pralaya nimittatvam घटाद्युपाधि कृतमेव तद्वद् अक्षरस्यापि नामरूपकृत देहोपाधि निमित्तमेव जीवोत्पत्ति प्रलय निमित्तत्वम्. Okay, he is further clarifying. Tatra, now we have seen Prabhava Anekaha Vividhaha Prajayante. Then what is happening to that? Tatra Chaiva. There itself, in that Tasminneva Akshare, in that Akshara. Now Shankaracharya has thrown away the example of that sparks and all that. He has come to the subject. He has left that example. He is now talking what is Darshtantikam. Drushtanta is an example. Darshtantikam means that which is exemplified. That which has been explained by the example. So now he is talking about this akshara. Tasminneva akshare, in that akshara, in that imperishable thing. Apiyanti means they get back, resolve. How? Deha upadhi bheda vilayam anu. That is, following the dissolution of this deha upadhi. Deha upadhi bhedam. Upadhi bhedam is this difference in upadhi. Deha is the upadhi, isn't it? Bhedam anu, that is after that, or basing on that, or in accordance with the dissolution of that dehopadhi, they are all anuviliyante. They are just getting dissolved. All these things are getting dissolved. Then ghatadi vilayam anviva sushira bhedaha. Then this ghatadi vilayam, this ghatam, you take a part, you break this part. If you break this part, then the space is no longer, it is no longer a sort of upadhi. That upadhi is gone. And that sushiram also is gone. That particular mouth which that ghatam was characteristic of. Or by that we characterized or we described or differentiated that ghatam. So all that differentiation is gone. Sushira bhedaha also have gone. With the destruction of that part, all the sushira bhedam, the difference in all these sizes, etc., they are all gone. Vilayam, ghatadi vilayam anviva, vilayam anu iva. Vilayam following, as though following. Iva is as though following that vilayam of that, not as though, it is like. Iva is like here. Like the breaking of that that ghata, like when you break that ghata, the Sushira Bhedam also has gone. Similarly, when the Dehopadhi is gone, there is nothing left except that supreme consciousness. Sushira Bhedaha yatha akasasya Sushira Bhedotpatti Pralaya Nimittvatvam. So, by virtue of this, we are saying, when you are taking a ghatam, when you are having 100 ghatams, and then when you are saying that there are 100 ghatas, Akasha is the karanam for that. When you break that thing, and then Vilayam, that Vilayam also Akasha is the karanam. So that means the entire causality, Nimittatvam, the causality, the fact that it is the cause, is merely because of the existence of the ghatam, and again the destruction of the ghatam. You see this line, Yatha Akashasya Sushira Bheda Utpatti Pralaya Nimittatvam. The whole thing we are saying, this thing, Akasha is the Nimitta. Nimitta, you know. Nimitta means the cause. Nimittatvam means the fact that it is a cause, the causality. The causality of that, or rather the perceived causality, let us say, the perceived causality of that space is due to Upadhi. There is no change in that, say, Nimittam. There is no change in that Akasha. The only change is there is an existence of hundreds and hundreds of parts, and then all these hundreds and hundreds of parts of different sizes, and all these things are getting destroyed. And then when they are there, you call it Utpatti. Utpatti means the origin. And then when they are destroyed, you are calling it the Laya. Utpatti, Laya. It doesn't make any difference for the Akasha, isn't it? And Akasha has seen so many millions and billions of people jivas arising and going away, isn't it? Not only on this planet, maybe on several other planets, the huge space has seen the rise and fall of so many empires, the rise and fall of so many people, the origin and deaths of billions and billions of people, which are all upadhis, isn't it? They are all upadhi only. So like that, Yatha Akasasya Sushira Bhedotpatti Pralaya Nimittatvam, that the whole causality, the fact that we are calling Akasha as the cause, it depends on this Namarupa. All that depends on the Namarupa arising and dissolution of Namarupa. The Utpatti of Namarupa and the Vilayam of Namarupa. Then Ghatadi Upadhi Kurtameva. All that thing is only due to Upadhi. Ghatadi Upadhi Kurtameva. That causality is basically due to the Upadhi. Then Tadvat, likewise, Aksharasyapi, for that Akshara Brahma, for that imperishable Brahma also, Namarupa Kruta Dehopadhi Nimittameva Jivotpatti Pralaya Nimittatvam. So that Nimitta, we are saying, oh, this God is the cause for Jiva, Utpatti, Pralaya, etc., etc. God, we say, is the cause for this Utpatti, Pralaya, etc. This causality is attributed to Brahman only by virtue of this Namarupa Kruta Deha Upadhi. By virtue of this Upadhis, which are nothing but names and form, this Namarupa Kruta Upadhi, that is Upadhi which is said to have been created by this Nama and Rupa. This Nama and Rupa only have produced this Upadhi. Otherwise there is no other thing. This name and form have created something called an Upadhi. And then from this Akshara Brahma, with reference to this Akshara Brahma, we are saying, oh, this is the cause. This is the cause. When this Nama Rupa appears, yes, the Akshara Brahma is the cause. And then when it dissolves, we say, oh, Akshara Brahma is the cause. So Akshara Brahma, we are holding it responsible for the Utpatti, the Srushti, creation, existence and resolution. Though that Akshara Brahma has no direct connection with this, it is not in any way affected by all this. Akshara Brahma is something which is not affected by any of these appearances. So that is what it is. Is it clear?
Yes.
Namarupa Kruta Dehopadhi Nimittam. This Deha Upadhi is only Namarupa Krutam. It is only because of the names and forms. Nimittameva Jiva Utpatti Pralaya Nimittatvam. Nimittatvam means The very fact that we are attributing causality to that, Nimittatvam is causality to that Brahman. Nimittatvam of whom? Nimittatvam of Brahman. For what? Jiva, Utpatti, Pralaya. For that Utpatti and Pralaya, for the arising and destruction, the rise and fall, or rather the Srushti and Vilaya. For all the things, we are attributing that causality to Brahman only basing on the Upadhi. Otherwise, there is no change in that Brahman. There is no change in the nature of that Absolute. Now, we are coming to the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahma. This first mantra we have seen, the tentative definition, which means that which is responsible for the origin, that which is responsible for the sustenance and dissolution, that is a tentative thing. And now we are coming to what is the real nature of that Brahma. Let us read the second mantra. Divyo hyamurtah purushah
Divyo hyamurtah purushah
Sabhahyabhyantaro hyajah
Sabhahyabhyantaro hyajah
Aprano hyamana shubhro
Aprano hyamana shubhro
Hyaksharat paratah paraha.
Hyaksharat paratah paraha.
Okay. So here, Divyaha, he means Asmat. Divyo Hyamurtaha. He plus Amurtaha is Hyamurtaha. He. That is, you take out that prefix he, that is Avyaya. It is an Avyaya, which means because Divyaha, Amurtaha, Amurtah Purushaha, Sabhahyabhyantaraha. Sabhahyabhyantara means that which is inside and outside. He Ajaha, Apranaha, he Amanaha, Shubhraha, he Aksharat Paratah Parata. He does not mean in the English he. Aksharat Paratah Paraha. So let us see Divyaha. Divya, we come across this word. Div means Dyotanatmakam. Dyotana means shining, Prakasha. That is, it does not mean that God is something like a huge lamp or something like that. Suppose you see the sun. Sun is something which is shining. And it doesn't mean that this Brahman is something which is equal to millions and millions of suns and things like that. It is not like that. You see, the word shining is used in the sense of knowledge. That we have to see. Diva is used in the sense of knowledge. That is, if I want to know something, suppose I want to know this pen, I need some intelligence. So I see that, oh, this pen is like this, I have some intelligence of this pen. Then similarly, for knowing anything, you need some intelligence, isn't it? And then for knowing that intelligence, what is the intelligence needed? To know my mind also, everything I can see. Everything I can see, I can distinguish. This book is something which is separate from me, I see this book. This shirt is something which is separate from me, I can see this. Even this body, mind, complex, etc. body also, I can say this is not me. What exactly is my real nature? That my real nature is not body. My real nature is not what is there in the body, that is flesh, blood, etc., etc. And even the mind is something which you can observe. Mind is also something which is not your real thing. Then what is that I? That the notion of I, that ahankara, that also is not me. And what is that which is illumining that I, that notion of I? That intelligence. This intelligence is something, there is nothing beyond this. And then there is nothing which illumines that intelligence. Intelligence is illumining every other thing. There is nothing which is going to illumine that intelligence, isn't it? Yeah. So from that point of view, it is called Swayam Jyoti. It is self-evident. It is something which is self-evident. Swayam Jyoti, the word you might have heard. Divyaha is Swayam Jyoti, something which is self-evident. It doesn't require anything else. It doesn't anything. That is what we see in that mantra, Kathopanishad mantra, Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachandra Tarakam. Yeah. Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoyam Agnihi Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam. That is, basing on that, everything is illumined. And there is nothing which is illumining that. So that is what it means. So Divya is that. Swayam Jyoti means that is self-evidence, that intelligence for which you don't require any other illumining thing for that. Divyaha Amurtaha. Amurtaha. Murtam is something which is having a form. Amurta is beyond all forms. Beyond all forms. You see, in religion, we see so many forms. In religion, every religion, form means it need not be a physical particular thing. Murta means a particular definition. This is what is my idea of God. This is my idea of God. So two people are saying, my idea of God is this, my idea of God is this. So this is something, then it leads to friction, it leads to quarrel, violence and all these things. But here it is amurta, it is beyond all this, amurta. Then purusha, we know this word purusha. Then sa bahyabhyantaraha, that which is all pervading, which is immanent in everything. All pervading, bahya, abhyantara, that is immanent in everything. Then ajaha, aja also this word we know. Aja means something which is unborn. Intelligence is something which is unborn. That is because if somebody says yes, intelligence is born at this time or at some place, then who is the person who is witnessing that intelligence? Suppose intelligence is born. Who is the one who is watching that intelligence? And the person who is having that intelligence is also having intelligence. So, which means this intelligence is something which is totally, there is no question of origin for this, it is originless, it is always there. It is always there. Then apranaha, and we are all beings with a prana. We are all beings with some action. Prana refers to action also. And this Brahman is something which is avikari, it doesn't undergo any change. There is no action in that Brahma. There is no question of action. Brahma, it doesn't mean that Brahma is inert and dead wood, not like a dead wood. We should not mean like that. Prana means something which has no activity in that. Brahman is of the nature of pure intelligence in which there is no activity. Amanaha. Shubhraha. Shubhra means something which is untouched by any of our activities. That is whether it is papam, punyam, etc. All our concepts of papa, punya, etc. they don't affect. They don't affect this Brahman. Shubhraha. Then aksharat parataha paraha. That means parataha aksharat paraha. That is, you have already come across one akshara. In the earlier thing, akshara, this word was used for avyakta. In the earlier part, we have seen this akshara. The word akshara was used for avyakta. Avyakta is something, avyakta also is beyond cognition only. Avyakta is the same as that maya and the same as prakriti. And this prakriti is again an appearance, is an appearance in that Brahman, isn't it? So now, parataha aksharat paraha. There are two levels of akshara. One is the lower level of akshara and one is that higher level of akshara. The earlier one was also called param, isn't it? So that is why it is parataha aksharat we are now saying. That is the superior one, let us say superior number 1 and superior number 2, or lower level of this param, higher level of param. Sorry, let me. So parataha aksharat paraha. So this aksharam was also called param earlier. This avyakta was called param earlier. And then now what? This param which we are seeing now, this supreme thing which we are seeing now, is beyond that. So that is why we say this is Brahman is something which is beyond Maya. In Bhagavatam we come across a beautiful poem, Lokambulu, Lokeshulu, Lokasthulu, Teginatudi, Alokambagu, Penjikati Kavvala Nevvan Dekakruti Velugu. In Bhagavatam, that is Gajendra Moksham. That Gajendra Moksha, that the elephant king, it worships that Vishnu. Vishnu there means the absolute reality. So that which is beyond that Maya, that which is beyond the darkness. So that is that absolute reality. There, of course, personified as Vishnu. So Aksharat Paratah Paraha. This Paratah Paraha, did you understand or not?
Yes.
Aksharat Paratah Paraha means Paratah Aksharat Paraha. From that Aksharam which was earlier called Param, this is Para. This is again Supreme. Let us see the Bhashyam. Nama Rupa Bija Bhutad Avyakrutakhyat
Namarupa Bija Bhutat Avyakrutakhyat
Swavikarapekshaya Parat
Swavikarapekshaya
Parad Aksharat Param Yat Sarvopadi Bheda Varjitam
Yat Sarvopadi Bheda Varjitam
Aksharasyaiva Swarupam Akashasyeva
Aksharasyaiva Swarupam Akashasyaiva
Sarva Murti Varjitam
Sarva Murti Varjitam
Neti Neti Ityadi Visheshanam
नेति नेति इत्यादि विशेषणं
Vivakshan aha.
विवक्षन् आह.
So he is giving an avatarika, an introduction to this particular mantra. This is Nama Rupa Bija Bhuta Bija Bhutad Avyakruta Khyat. Now we are coming to that Avyakruta, earlier Avyakruta. That earlier Avyakruta is what? Nama Rupa Bija Bhutat. This is something which is of the nature of, this is the cause, this is the root cause for this Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa Bija Bhutam. Bija Bhutam means that is the origin. Bija means a seed. That is, here it means origin. Nama Rupa Bija Bhutam means this Avyakruta which was described earlier is the seed which is the cause for the names and forms. And that Avyakruta, which means what does it mean? That Avyakruta was a vikari. That Avyakruta was something which was undergoing some change. You see, Brahma there is no parinama. Brahma there is no change, there is no vikara. In this Avyakruta there is a vikara. This is what we call Prakruti Parinamavada. That is in this Prakruti or Avyakruta there is a vikara. So this Avyakruta Khyat, that which was called Avyakruta, then Swavikara Pekshaya Parad, with reference to its own vikaras, with reference to its own mutations, with reference to its own evolutes, vikara, you can call it evolute, or something which has evolved from that. With reference to or in comparison with its own evolutes, it is something which is absolute. Swavikara Pekshaya. Vikara Pekshaya, you know, that means in comparison to its own vikaras, in comparison to its own evolutes. Swavikara Pekshaya Parat. With reference to them, it is Param. With reference to its own evolutes. You see, from Prakruti, Prakriter Mahan, Mahato Ahankaraha, you see that sequence, isn't it? So, with reference to, say, Panchabhutas, thus Mahan is supreme. With reference to Mahan, Avyakta is supreme. So, like that. Depending, that there is a chain of hierarchy, isn't it? Yeah. So, this with reference to the lowest one, the next highest one, and the next lowest one is Param. From that, the next higher thing is Param. From that, next higher thing is Param. So, it is like that. Apekshaya Parat, Parad Aksharat Param. So that Aksharam was something which is inferior. With reference to that, with reference to all its evolutes, it was called Param. Then now the present one is, this is absolute, Avikari. Earlier absolute, earlier Param was Vikari. This thing is Avikari. Then yet Sarva Upadhi Bheda Varjitam. It is devoid of any type of Upadhi. It is devoid of any type of delimiting factor. It is devoid of any such names and forms. Names and forms are the delimiting factors. It is devoid of all those things. Then of that Akshara, Aksharasya Swarupam, that the nature of that Aksharam, Akashasyeva, like, which is something which is comparable. The closest comparison to Brahman is Akasha, space. Akashasyeva, Sarva Murti Varjitam. It is devoid of any type of Murti, any type of form. So these lines also we have to see. Because we always say, we are all Murti worshippers, we are all idol worshippers, and we have these forms and whatnot. That is for a lower level. This Murti is for a lower level. That lower level is only a sadhanam. Our Siddhanta, we have to understand our Siddhanta. Our Siddhanta says, accept religion as a sadhanam. Any religion. You take any religion, you have got a concept of God. And that particular God is a Saguna Brahma only. Saguna Brahma means a God with some characteristics, a God with some functions. The man is interacting, that person is interacting with, say, the human beings. That person is favoring some human beings. That person is trying to destroy some people who don't believe in him. So all these things are there. So long as these things are there, it is your own concept of God. And that is not the real nature of God. So what Upanishad says is, any religion, it has got a Murti. Suppose you say this is Vishnu, this is Rama, this is some other thing. This is a particular concept. This is a limited thing. You take this. You need not throw away. You take this and then purify yourself. This is an instrument for purifying yourself. And then after this, you have to go to a higher level. After this, you realize yourself. What is the real nature of that? This real nature of that supreme reality is, it is beyond all these things. It is beyond all these opinions. Matam, for example, what is the matam? Matam means manudhatu. from the Manu Dhatu. Manu means what I conceive, what I think. Matam is something which is my opinion. That is what we see in Matadan in Hindi for voting. For voting, what do they say? Matadan. Matadan means I am expressing my opinion there. I am giving my opinion there. Matadan is giving an opinion. So Mata is an opinion, and opinion may not be truth. Opinion may not be true, isn't it? So this is something Sarva Murti Varjitam. So the religion is something which is a means for us for self-purification, whereas in the case of other religions, the religion is absolute. Vishwasam or Matam is absolute, whereas we say, okay, you take it, but go beyond. So that is the difference. We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti